What is going on, friends? Loren and I are in beautiful Moab. Here we have behind us our brand new Ford Bronco RTR Fun Runner LT. Now, Loren and I are extremely happy to have this truck with us because, well, some of you may not know. Loren, what happened to our first Fun Runner LT?
Well, last year on the way to the King of the Hammers, we had a little bit of an incident with a truck and trailer. Unfortunately, the LT, Humpty, and OG Brocky went for quite a tumble across the desert. And the LT and Humpty were both totaled.
Totaled, destroyed total. We haven't talked about this.
No, we've kept it quiet.
Maybe we'll find some photos and just toss in here for you guys to see. But it was quite a sad incident. We didn't want to talk about it much because we were trying to focus on racing.
Yeah, and then we were a little heartbroken because that was one of our babies, and you're right, we didn't want to throw it out on social media. But now the resurrection of what that dream was, even bigger, even better, even wilder.
Yeah, so we built this with some improvements from the things that we learned. We'll show you. Wait, we'll come back. We'll come back to under the hood. So, LT stands for long travel. Loren, where is this suspension inspired from?
Definitely Ultra 4 inspired. So very similar A-arms, the portal, 74 weld portal front suspension is very similar to kind of a mixture of our 4600 race trucks and our 4400 trucks. So it still has the Dana upgraded diff that anybody can put into a Bronco, but it's got bigger Spider Trax axles and RCV CVs, and portals that have gear reduction in them. The really cool thing about portals is not only do you get the gear reduction like having a transfer case out here at the wheel end, but you also get that nice flat lower A-arm, and you get 4 inches of lift there too. So ground clearance, gear reduction, strength, there's so many benefits to running portals on an independent front suspension.
Yeah, as you can see, 42-inch Nitto trail graps. They clear perfect. You look under here, we've been wheeling all day. Not a touch. Everything's trimmed and where it needs to be. Fox coilovers and bypass, very similar to what we run what we ran in race trucks before we went over to live valve.
Yep.
Very capable. Everything's strapped, billet upper arm. I'll move over here.
So the newest cool thing about this is the steering. So nobody's done this in a Gen 6 Bronco yet. This was something that I've been really kind of dreaming of because as we've modified vehicles our whole lives, we've always been able to upgrade the steering. And the electronic rack in the Broncos is so integrated into the Bronco. It's tough to actually put a different hydraulic pump and hydraulic steering system onto a Bronco. And so this is hydro assist, and similar to what off-road people have been doing forever. So we put a steering box with a trophy truck style rack that's controlling the rack and a hydraulic assist ram. So it has the mechanical connection to the steering box, but also has a hydraulic steering pump for controlling 42-inch tires.
Right.
Bronco steering was never designed to do that, but that's where I'm going to dream of taking vehicles. And so, just like anything, you have to upgrade. You have to be able to make that thing strong enough to be able to handle that. And so far, we're a couple days in of testing and driving this. I'm pumped running 80 miles an hour down the highway. It drives so nice and so good. But in the rocks, you have full control of it versus, the electronic rack not being able to put out quite enough power for this size of tire.
Sure. And so with that, now this truck has a Atlas transfer case. So the GOAT modes are no longer in this truck. That's all basically deleted out. And so with that steering, if you didn't have that, you wouldn't be able to use the GOAT modes. It would make multiple things in a stock Bronco unable to be used until maybe we can figure out some steering sensor stuff with it.
So that's the next step of stuff we want to try to develop is how to put those steering sensors into that rack, because it's the same style slider side to side. So if we can make the Bronco see that, and this engine swap is fully integrated. Everything is. Did we talk about that? Yeah. But making that all integrated into the vehicle is definitely the direction we want to keep learning and figuring all this stuff out.
Heck yeah. So weld-on slider. So the rest is very similar to the original Gen, or the original Fun Runner LT we built. Obviously, fabricated rear arms, Spider Trax rear.
Yep.
This is the same similar rear we run in Ultra 4
Exact
prior to
same
going
stuff.
to the 10-inch, right?
Yeah. This This is the older style
Previous
10-inch
gen.
with an ARB, 40 spline ARB, 45 spline out at the hub. So big 300M axle shafts that we can. I never thought we could break it. If you talk me into a Whipple on this truck somewhere down the road, then we might try to break them, but I don't see that happening.
Interior, we got the 4 Recaro Sportsters. You know, very, very sick setup. Of course, that gets rid of the airbags in the seats, but all the rest of the airbags in the front are functional. Side curtains, I believe, should be still functional. We haven't tested them.
We have not tested them. I don't intend to.
Should be.
We'll find out when they go off.
And moving to the rear, you know, we've got the front and rear bumpers on this truck still. And yeah, that's really it for, you know, as far as changes from the original LT. For those of you that aren't familiar with that truck, I feel like we went over just about everything anyway.
Yeah, I get asked the travel numbers on this truck a lot. So I think we're about 15-inch strapped in the front and 18-inch in the rear. Coilover bypass, trailing arm. We moved the SpiderTrack sway bar to the back instead of like the factory Bronco having it on the front A-arms. So this is more of a traditional anti-rock style sway bar in the back of the truck. The fuel cell to work around, it's in the factory location, but we actually had to fabricate the fuel cell to accommodate the articulation of what the axle does underneath there. Same capacity, everything's all integrated. Fuel gauge, you know, all that stuff is still working just like factory. So,
all right, should we show them what everyone's excited for? So you might have noticed this Bronco doesn't sound like others. I do want to say, just before I preface this or before I show this, I really love the 2.3 and the 2.7 and the 3-liter and the Raptor. Also, obviously, the Raptor Ranger. Really good motors. They rip, plenty of torque, plenty of fun. But this is America. And in America, we love V8s. And our friends at Ford decided they were going to come out with this beautiful 7.3-liter Godzilla engine. And we just had to have one.
We did. We've been talking about what we were going to put a Godzilla in for quite a while. And it just made sense when the LT got wrecked and we were looking at stuff. And we just happened to have a 5.2 Predator with a Whipple in the shop with Bandito spare stuff. And so we set it in here and we're like, yeah, we can make this work. We can cut and trim and massage some stuff. But I think the Godzilla, we pulled up CAD drawings and looked at the Godzilla and it was smaller, tighter, narrower. Holley had this really cool accessory kit already designed, their intake, alternator, air conditioning pump that put everything high and tight in here. And it just like,
I mean, look at it.
It just slid into this Bronco.
Like a freaking glove.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And yeah, and so here it is. And it's really cool. You know, the Coyote is an amazing motor. I love them. My Mustang's high revving, plenty of power, easy to make more power with. I mean, arguably one of the best head designs on the planet. But this thing is, you know, lower revving, but just a donkey of torque. I mean, it just does the thing. And when you got this type of tires and for the crawling and even ripping through the desert, like with the 10-speed transmission behind it, it doesn't matter because you just go up a gear and then it's just right in the torque band. So it actually never falls out of the torque band, really.
No, the 10-speed keeps you really high. And this is the 10R80, not the 10R60 that comes in the Bronco. So this is a little bit bigger size transmission, comes out of the F-150 and some of those other vehicles. Similar design in the Mustang as well. So.
Yep, so we're using the factory fans.
Yep.
Custom radiator.
CBR built as a same company that builds our cooling and stuff for our race trucks.
Yep.
So made that fit down between the frame rails where the intercooler and that type of stuff would normally be. So it made a whole lot of room. We might even talk about putting a winch down lower and tucking up the bumper and doing some other stuff. Because you've got some more room to do some stuff down in there.
Yep.
Like we were saying, the steering system, so you can see the hydraulic reservoir going down to the steering pump that goes down there, and you might see like how the steering box and stuff is mounted down there. So you can see how that swing, it's got a pitman arm that's swinging into a swing set. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you see on race trucks.
Yeah.
It's period. And
I mean, it's what off-road guys have been swapping into vehicles since the dawn of time, since we broke factory stuff and wanted to make upgrades and do dumb stuff. And
I do think a Whipple will fit right on this thing.
I mean, I don't disagree with you, but we have Bandito that is just obnoxious and loud and crazy power. I love taking my kids to school and driving around.
Doesn't have to have 1,000 horsepower. It can just have like 600.
We could put a cam in this and have 600.
Yeah. We could also just wait for the Megazilla and put a Megazilla in it. What I'm saying is that it's going to get more horsepower. That's what I'm saying. At some point, it's going to get more horsepower. But it's nice to get out here and really test it. I know the question a lot of you are asking is, can you buy one? Well, the answer to that, friends, is yes. We will sell these. Maybe we won't sell any, but we will offer them for sale because they're not cheap. But if you are interested, head to rtrvehicles.com and you will see a way that you can sign up for information. There will be a process to interview people to make sure that this vehicle is a type of vehicle that you can handle because we care about our customers. We want to make sure you know what you're getting into before you get into it, because we don't usually sell race cars, but this is the type of halo vehicle. This is kind of like our Mustang Spec 5 for Broncos. If you know anything about 42-inch tires and the drivetrain and stuff that we've spoke about on here, it's not you take it to your local dealer and get it serviced. So we have to talk to people to make sure they have the experience to have a vehicle like this. But we know there's many like me and Loren who really would like one, so we're going to make it available. So reach out and if not, check out our other RTR Broncos and the other fun things that we make. And with that,
there's one right there. That's
there's
amazing.
one over there. Wait, don't show what's on that windshield. That's secret stuff. So anyway,
I do have two more things that I want to show you.
Perfect.
Around the back, the lithium Optima batteries.
Oh yeah, this is sick.
This is cool, right?
This is sick.
There's,
how did we forget?
Right, I do want to show you.
Too
We got our Starlink.
Was this so you could have Wi-Fi today on the trail?
I mean, maybe. I mean, I had work to do.
Fair.
So we've got 4 lithium batteries all tied in together. That doesn't weigh as much as one normal AGM battery.
That's awesome.
So moved all the way to the back and cleaned up the engine compartment where the battery and stuff would be at. ARB compressed into air tanks so that we can chuck up and fill up people who run other tire brands and might have flat tires. We don't really need that, but we want to help people on the trail if they need to. But no, it definitely was a cool thing that the team, and I really want to thank everybody.
Dude, crushed it.
Dude, the guys did an amazing job back at the shop, so thank you guys.
You got the baddest dudes.
You did so awesome, and this is one of their cool ideas of where we could relocate this. There's normally that cool little storage spot, and they hand fabricated everything and made all of that work. And then the other thing that I'm looking forward to showing you tonight is all the rigid lights that we put on here. So we've got rock lights that are, lighting up the ground all around the wheel wells, backlit upper lights with those 360s. They just blew your mind out at King of the Hammers, and integrated cubes all over. I think we're gonna see some light tonight that's really impressive. So.
Okay, sick. And then sounds again. While we're mentioning it, we got a Borla custom exhaust on it, 2-into-1. So come off the headers into one resonator, then the Borla muffler. And then out to our end exhaust to make the beautiful, beautiful sound that you hear. And that's it. So thank you all for tuning in to check out the walk around of our Bronco RTR Fun Runner LT. You can expect to see Loren and myself having plenty of fun, or fun having a plenty, behind the wheel of this thing. We are here in Moab for lots of fun this week, and then you can see it. We'll take it to Johnson Valley. It's going to be everywhere. We're going to be everywhere with it. You going to trail here with it?
Oh, 100%.
You heard the man. So, new toy for the fleet, and we are so pumped. Nice work, buddy.
Thanks.
I love your ideas.